Hello, everybody. I hope you had a good lunch. My name is Pascal Meyer, and I, together with Aphrodite, will present today about the PwC Tech Consulting. During this 30-minute presentation, you can submit questions when you use the button below the video. There you can enter it and submit it. The question itself will not be visible for you, but we will see it and can answer it then in the 15 minutes Q&A session. Yes, so we go on to the next slide. So welcome to you all. You can see my name is Pascal Meyer. I'm a manager in FS. It's financial services. And I started my career at PwC in IT audit and financial audit, which is focusing on the year-end statements. And after 2 years, I switched to consulting, which is for me more creative. So, and then I had the opportunity now for 5 years to work at PwC Consulting. In consulting, my focus is on digital and strategy. So this means that I help my clients to come up with a digital strategy, so to define their IT strategy, or to really hands-on support them in the digitalization of their paper-based products or other implementation of systems. I studied management and engineering at ZHV and then moved on to PwC. You can see there is a QR code which allows you, if you scan it, to go directly to mine or Aphrodite's LinkedIn page. Thank you very much for participating here. Aphrodite, you want to introduce yourself?
Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. It's really nice to be here and to virtually meeting you. My name is Aphrodite Apostolou. I work as a manager in the TIS Technology Consulting in PwC. As you may understand from my name, I am Greek, I come from Greece, moved to Switzerland a bit more than 11 years ago. I studied electrical and computer engineering in the National Technical University of Athens, and then moved to Zurich to do my master's degree in biomedical engineering at PwC in Zurich. My career focus is in the last 9 years within the wider spectrum of pharma and life sciences, ranging from startup firms in med tech to research centers to consulting in pharma and life sciences. 7 years of my professional career, I focus on digital and data transformation applications, and 5 of those I am working in PwC Switzerland. Speaking of PwC, I'd like to give you an overview of how the organization of PwC Switzerland and Liechtenstein looks like. As you may know, PwC is a global network of member firms, which operates on a local level. So what you will see is an overview of PwC Switzerland and Liechtenstein on this local level. I would also like to give you a few key figures that will speak for PwC's core values and priorities. At a first glance, you can see that there's more than 3,000 employees overall, 555 of which are working in consulting. A few key figures that will speak for values of inclusivity and diversity are that you may come across 85 nationalities within PwC's population, 42% of which are female, 58% of those are male, with an average age of 35 years old. At the top right of the screen, you can see a map of the offices across Switzerland and Liechtenstein. Liechtenstein overall 15 locations. Some offices are smaller, and also some are bigger, but in all cases, a convenient place for most places in Switzerland. And a few more numbers that again speak for core values and priorities. 77.2% of the yearly revenue of PwC is invested in internal education and training. That means that core priority of PwC is to keep their employees at the top line and always remain relevant. Also, PwC cares for solving important problems for society. Therefore, technology and digital transformation with focus on data is one of the top 5 strategic priorities. And also there is a wide portfolio of clients that go cross-industry, like for example in pharma, finance, manufacturing, NGOs, and so on. Now, moving on, a few words on today's agenda. In the first section, we're going to speak of PwC Technology Consulting in particular. Then Pascal and I have picked a few representative projects that we would like to share with you today. And then we also put together our viewpoints as to how the life of a PwC tech consultant may look like. And at the end of this session, the 15 last minutes are dedicated to a Q&A session. We're going to try to respond as many questions that you raise, so please go ahead and raise your questions as we go on, as we speak. And with that, I will pass on to Pascal to help us navigate through PwC Technology Consulting.
Thank you very much, Aphrodite. So what is PwC Technology Consulting? On this slide, you can see the essential 8 technologies which PwC defined have the biggest business impact. As you can see, the next wave of technology is already coming. This means it's changing really fast. There are always new technologies, and our customers of PwC, of course, are interested to know about them and to also use them. Unfortunately, I never had the chance to build up a drone, as you can see on the picture on the right. But maybe if you start at PwC Tech Consulting, you will have the chance then to build drones during a working time. You never know. It's really important at PwC Technology Consulting that you are interested and curious about new technologies, and that you are also interested to work together to come up with new ideas to solve the problems of our customers. So on this slide, you can see some examples of the PwC Technology Consulting services that we provide. Worth to mention here is that PwC Technology Consulting is within our advisory services. What does that mean? Advisory is more focused on supporting our clients really in the implementation and to advise them on new approaches. Most of you probably know the assurance, PwC Assurance, and tax and legal services. So within PwC Technology Consulting, I will pick the examples which we show here and explain a little bit furthermore. For example, we have here cloud transformation. Cloud transformation is focusing on the shift from the on-premises onto the cloud. So really helping our customer to bring their software and hardware as they like into the cloud. Then we have here digital transformation and enablement, which is focusing on the paper-based products and the inefficient processes, inefficient manual processes mostly at our clients, which we then try together with them to digitalize and to make it more efficient and automated. Another example is HR transformation. In HR transformation, I pick one example. We look at the performance management and help a customer to implement the software called Workday as an example, but of course we have also other service in there. Then front office transformation is all about sales and marketing at our clients. So to identify their customers, to know their customers, to come up with leads. Here, as an example, we help to implement Salesforce, which is a really well-known CRM system. In finance transformation, we look at the finance processes and how we can automate and digitalize them. One example would be to implement SAP, which is a really well-known ERP system that a lot of our clients use. Then data management, strategy and insights. There it's all about data. So we go to our customers and help them to gather the right data, analyze the data and act on this data. You can see in black on the white background on the left some industries. These are mostly from TIS, so in Aphrodite's work sector. Here we have telecommunication companies, we have manufacturing companies, but we also have government and NGOs. In the FS area where I work, we have insurance companies, banks. So we have huge global international working insurance companies, but we also support, for example, crypto startups. So it's really a diverse spectrum. At PwC Tech Consulting, maybe to highlight or to summarize it, we help our clients to simplify their processes, come up with new ideas to maximize the client's transformation journey so that they can benefit from this digitalization. Now I go on to the interesting part, our real-life client project examples. So here I will first present 2 examples and then Aphrodite will present 2 examples, which is probably then give you a little bit a better idea about what we are doing really. So my first example is the broker sales channel digitalization at an insurance company. For those of you who are not in insurance, a broker is an independent intermediary who searches for their clients an insurance contract. So they are not employed by the insurance itself. They work for the client. And at this insurance company, they make a lot of business with these brokers. So the brokers bring their clients to them, and it's really important for them. But they saw that their competitor were growing faster as they do, and also that the customer onboarding, when they won it was really slow and it also costed a lot. So they called PwC, so they called us and asked for our support. We then directly contacted the brokers through surveys and asked them for their needs, so what they really want. And they told us they want a full digital interaction and not as of now. They want, as of now, these manual and inefficient processes like phone calls or letters. So what we came up with together with the client, so our solution was to implement interfaces. These interfaces are like plugs, so the broker can use these connectors directly to act on the system of the insurance company. What does this mean as a practical example? A broker works on his laptop and he wants to quote a new insurance contract for his client. Then he can directly type it in and it's sent to the insurance company and automatically sent back with the quote. And he can also submit for a quote so that then later the insurance can work on it automatically or through an underwriter to create a policy. What was the benefit for the insurance? So the insurance really had, like through this, they have a competitive advantage in the market, and also they reduce their administrative costs through these automated processes. Okay, so my next example is a digitalization project at the Swiss government. So even if I'm working in FS, PwC is really flexible. So you also have sometimes opportunities in other industries. For me, this project at the government was my first project in this industry or at the government itself. And my focus there was on, so the government has a paper-based product which they sell to a lot of Swiss citizens, and they do this every year. And this product has a lot of costs because it's paper-based and a lot of internal work. And also for the Swiss citizens or the customers, it takes a lot of time to work with this paper-based product. So that's why we work together with the government on a new solution, and therefore we use the design thinking approach. Maybe some of you already know it or heard about it. It's so the target is really to come up with an idea that really solves the problems of the customers and helps them to find help us to find the best solution, which is also tested with them. So how we did it is we did interviews and questionnaires to understand the needs. So we had like a test group, which we then interviewed. Then we came up with the customer journey to understand their problems. Then we brainstormed, benchmarked, to come up with new ideas and use cases how to do it. And then we created a wireframe, which is a really simple prototype for an app or a web shop. And we tested it with them again to find maybe some better some improvement points or some new ideas. And this was like an iterative process until we were sure that our solution really fits the needs of our future customers. Now the program will be started in soon, and digital solution will be created. It's actually a web shop and an app, which then can be used on computer, tablets, or phones, which will save. As the benefit will be that the government saves a lot of money, and also the Swiss citizens or later customers will save a lot of time when they use it. So thank you. These were my two examples. So Aphrodite, you want to take over?
Yes, thank you, Pascal. So my first example is also about a digitalization project, but this time our client was a big pharma client. What we did there, we digitized the processes within the product safety and regulatory affairs section. That means all the processes that have to do with the journey of a product that right after the lab is decided to be released to the market up to the point where this is getting its license approved to be sold in the local market. Now, a few pain points that this customer had was that there was an increasing pipeline of products that were about to be released to the market. At the same time, the submission process was a quite lengthy and complex one. On top of that, the systems, the processes, and the data of these clients in different countries across the globe were quite inconsistent. Therefore, information could not really be reused, and that led to repetition of tasks and also a high inefficiency, both in terms of costs, if you have to repeat tasks, and also in terms of resource allocation. So what we did to help them, we co-developed together with them a 360 view solution that would encompass processes, technology, data, and people. By processes, we mean that we designed a global template, a global process end-to-end that will cover the needs of all countries, of course, with variations to allow for customization on a local level. We also implemented the technological component that was a cloud platform to enable large and complex information flow. And together with that, we also enabled a big database solution that would serve as a single source of truth for their data. Last but not least, we also optimized the ways of working of people and also optimized the resource allocation. Now, what was the benefit of this effort? First of all, increased pipeline, which means more submissions in less time. That means more efficiently. High flexibility to adapt to changing strategies and also to a fast-paced environment. People got access to data-driven decision-making since they had this unique source of truth for their data. That meant more accurate, more compliant, and more proactive decision-making. Also, this allowed for increased focus on valuable tasks and high expertise tasks, not just repetitive ones. Plus, collaboration was boosted among the stakeholders. There was, as you may see, large scope and also lengthy duration project of a bit less than 4 years of implementation. And this is a typical example of a big scale transformation project. Now, the second example that I chose for today is almost completely different. Not only because it was a smaller scope, a shorter duration, but mainly because it did not really deal with the development of a technological solution per se, rather than with the enablement of an existing technological solution. So in this case, our client was an NGO. They had developed a very good solution to train their people under real life and more realistic situation. That meant that they had put together a virtual reality unit to train their people. Now, although this solution was really creative and really nice, what was not going really well was the ways that they were operating with the solution. So how they would reach different countries, how would they assess different resourcing needs, training needs, how would they leverage strengths and also address weaknesses or identify opportunities, risks, and threats in different countries. In a way, how would they come up with more targeted training material tailored to the local needs. So what we did there was we performed an as-is analysis of their capabilities and their operating process, doing that by conducting a series of more than 15 interviews with key stakeholders. We also assessed and identified representative business scenarios that would come up in real life situation. And in the end, we redesigned the target operating model that would take into account the location, along with specific resourcing needs, training needs, strengths and weaknesses, and also changing business cases and business needs. So after having talked a bit about our projects, let's have a look of how a life of PwC tech consultant may look like. As you may know, no one really gets trained to be a consultant. Therefore, there's a lot of mystery, a few myths around what it is that we do. There's different viewpoints as to what it is that consultants do. Society think differently. Your parents or your clients and friends may think differently. At the end of the day, not two of us will have exactly the same view on what it is that we actually do. So our work is really dependent on the projects that we are involved into. However, we really tried to come up with an example of a day and how it could look like. Of course, allow for some more creativity and more deviation around this. What you can see throughout this exemplary day is that in PwC, work life is all about collaboration within our teams and with our clients. It's all around actively listening to our clients and their needs, co-developing, a lot of communication, coaching and training opportunities and initiative, and a lot of social events throughout the day, but and also at the end of it. So on a typical day, we would probably start at around 8:30 to check in with our team, have our coffee together, probably on site on our client's office and premises, or nowadays virtually from home. We could say that we would dedicate the first half of our day to present to our clients so far progress and so far findings, request additional feedback or additional information, or in other cases, we would conduct assessments, interviews, or workshops. Typically, we would break at around 12 for lunch with our PwC colleagues or our extended team, also including members from our clients. And then we would resume our working day at around 1, where we would integrate client feedback, further prepare our data and our presentations, be prepared to further align with our clients and make sure that what we have developed really responds to what it is that they need and what they had in mind. It can also be that we have touch points with our coaches or coachees to talk about our career development, or we could also have trainings that we have been assigned to or that we have selected. At different times of the day, and also mostly on an ad hoc basis, we can also break for coffee with our colleagues. And also on an average day, we can say that we resume working at around 6 to go for after-work drinks or other activities. We also tried to give you an overview of how a typical project could look like, but as you already saw, there's a huge variety of projects, different scopes and different clients, so no two projects really look alike. What you could, in many cases, identify as project phases on this journey is market study and vision, development of business case, initialization of our project, development of our project, and finally our offboarding. At the first stage, we would assess the market and its needs, current trends and forces, and we would try to respond to different client needs, in a way creating a vision showcasing the business benefits to our client. Then this would translate to a business case, also including the cost and benefits for our clients. And after our business case is approved by our client's management board, then we're ready to take off with our project. First step is to put together an appropriate team with the right skill set for the scope of this project, and then onboard the team to the client side. Then we would start with the development of the project that is nowadays mostly in an agile manner. That means short durations that we call the sprint of development, followed by feedback session that we then integrate and we continue with development. The intention of all that is to come up with what we call minimal viable product. That means a small but standalone part of a solution, like a proof of concept that we then iterate and we increase in terms of increments together with our clients. Once we have reached the product and the solution that has been agreed upon, then we are ready for our offboarding. That also means that we make sure that we share the knowledge internally, and also that we can celebrate our success and also potential failures, and that we're then ready to go to our next adventure. And with that, I see that there's already a few questions that you have raised. I will pass on to Pascal to probably take us through the first question, and then we can exchange.
Thank you. So the first question I picked is from Kirill Mitrov, and the question is, in the broker sales example, did the PwC consulting process of how to achieve the interface and the objective, or did PwC also create, say, interface and implement the technical aspect of the project? Really good question. So in this example, we first did a market study to really analyze what I told, to analyze the needs. Then we went to the management and they approved this solution, or they said, okay, we have an issue. And then we came up with options and they decided on one option, and we created for this then a business case. And later on, when this business case was approved, we set up the program to develop it. In this development program, we were more like project management. So I was the program manager, but not directly developing the interfaces itself. So the real technical requirements came then from a specialist consulting company, which was also external of this insurance company, but not from PwC itself. But yeah, it could be that we also really defined the technical details, but mostly we are more into the strategy and defining the business requirements, I would say. Good. I don't know, Aphrodite, do you want to pick the next question?
Yes, I see that there is really too many interesting questions. I see a good one. How do you evaluate if the transformation implemented is working? Is a follow-up always in place? So this is, I see there's two parts in these questions. So first of all, when we implement when we're designing a digital transformation solution that goes together with what we call KPIs matrix, this is key performance indicators. So that means that we have put together a list of metrics so that also our client can assess the success of our solution. This could be, for example, surveys that they frequently roll out to their employees. It could be that this is levels of satisfaction, usability. It could be speed of tasks and so on. So this is, in most cases, that goes together with the solution that we're suggesting. And also, I need to say that in most clients, there is frequent follow-up sessions. We do have long-standing relationships with our clients, so we always go back, check in how it is that they're doing and how they are going about what we have suggested. Pascal, do you have you picked another one?
Yes, I took a question from Antoine Hassler, and he asked, hi, thanks for the presentation. You presented the several fields that are contained within tech consulting. How do I know I'm a university student? Which branch is right for me? What are the differences between these fields? What are the career opportunities they offer? This is a really good question, because in my career, also started first in audit, and I was starting in IT audit, to be precisely. And And I didn't exactly know which career opportunities it offers in the end. So what I learned, you have at PwC really the opportunity to direct your career a little bit into the direction you like. So if you start at PwC Tech Consulting, you will maybe first come on a project which you then like or not like, and then you can discuss and say, okay, I want to be more into to focus myself more into this direction or this direction. So I think in PwC you really have the opportunity to steer your career in the direction you like. And if you're a student, you probably first have to a little bit find out what you're really interested in. And then if you are on several projects, you will be always project by project, you'll be more sure what is really interesting for you. What are the difference between these fields? Yeah, so these fields which I mentioned, so they focus on different expertises. Let's say in finance transformation, you build up more a finance knowledge. In HR transformation, you really dig into the HR processes. If you go, let's say, to what was another example? Cloud transformation. Then you really think about what the cloud offers. So you have to articulate this to the client. You have to know how a cloud migration is happening. So the steps from the on-premise to the cloud. And you will work on mostly on these projects then, and compared to finance transformation, you will not focus mainly on finance processes then. I hope this answers your question or your several questions. Aphrodite, you have another question?
Yes, so there's a very good one that I would also like to mention within the strengths of PwC. So the question is from Björn asking, are there cross-functional teams at PwC, for example, such as growth or marketing teams in service as in SAS companies that act as project teams for specific client jobs? So yes, this is one of the biggest strengths of PwC. This is a big network of firms. So that means that, first of all, internally, we have different capabilities that we leverage depending on the scope of the project that we want to respond to. But it can also be that there is a more particular and more specific needs that are demanded. And for that, we can also reach out to more specific, more targeted teams, not only within PwC Switzerland, for example, or not only within TIS, but also in the wider PwC network. So this is a big yes to this question. We have access to a big variety of different capabilities and skill sets. Pascal, back to you.
Thank you. So I have here a question. What are some key skills that a PwC tech consultant possesses? I really think that it's important to have some technical understanding and also to be interested in new technologies. Further, as a consultant, you have a lot of client contact. So you should also be open to speak with them or present your ideas that you have. Further, you should have a little bit analytical mindset that you can come up with new solutions for existing processes, and also be creative and team working. I hope I got all the skills. Maybe do you want to add something, or I think I answered this question? Aphrodite.
I hope this is answered, that I'm covered at least.
Good.
Good. So if I may go to the next one, is it necessary to have background in, e.g., insurance or pharma? As I'm a full-time student, I do not have any work experience in the different fields you mentioned. And of course, this is something that we expect. Typically in consulting, we talk about this T shape. So T being how broad your skill sets are. So that could be that you have a good overview of different industries, and the vertical dimension of this T shape is how deep your knowledge is. Both scenarios are valid in PwC. You may have a very specific skill set developed in a specific area, but maybe you're not that much focused on industry, or you are very much focused on an industry. In all cases, at the start of your career, it's not expected that you have that exposure yet. And this is something that also, as Pascal mentioned before, you find out as you go, project by project. You may understand what it is that's best fits what it is that you want to do and where you are strongest at. So what I can say is that there is a lot of flexibility to deepen your knowledge in a specific field and also in an industry that you're interested in. Pascal, do you have anything to add to that?
No, this is really good explained with the T-shape. So I have the next question. To digitize a government project, who does the brainstorming, benchmarking? What team and what kind of experts? And what is the role of the consultant in the creation of the prototype? So because this was an example for me, in the brainstorming and benchmarking, so we did this together with the client. So really in a session where we brainstormed on new ideas, and the benchmarking was mostly done by PwC itself. So we looked at other governments, how they do it, and came up then with this comparison. But yeah, so, and what is the role of the consultant in the creation of the prototype? So in this example, I defined together with the client the use cases during these brainstorming sessions, and we also create some paths in the web app. So really where the user clicks through. But this was mostly done like a process drawing and not so visual. And then we had a UX developer who then created the prototype. So this was also another external company which was supporting. Aphrodite, you want to take over?
Yes, so I'm conscious of time. Maybe this is we have time for one last question. So I will close with this one. You are providing solution to various type of clients, but does digital transformation also have an impact internally at PwC? Did you observe changes into your daily tasks? So I like this one very much. So in PwC and also and mainly before COVID time, we were very well equipped and prepared to be always on the go. That meant that most of our processes and most of our daily tasks had to be highly digitized, so that we are not really bounded at one specific location or in one office. That means that we are very well equipped with our laptop with an eSIM card in it. So we also always have access to internet, and also we have different platforms to log in different activities or to find access to different information that we may need. Of course, we are always striving to go the extra mile, and of course there's continuous change as to the digital evolution that we internally take. I think that there is lately one initiative to unify and harmonize a few of our systems. And also there is a tendency to enable digitally a wider collaboration on a global level of the PwC network. Pascal, any changes that you have to mention from your end?
I know. I think you're really good. You're really good explaining it. Maybe we already, I think, at the end, but you can reach out to us through LinkedIn. I saw that some of you already added me on LinkedIn. Please just contact us, and we can then come back with the answers to your questions which have not been answered yet. Thank you very much for participating.
Thank you so much. And as Pascal said, please reach out with additional questions.